like the serving temperatures of all these too.
Yeah.
I mean,
Thanks.
I mean, I don't know that we planned that, but I mean, it is just right.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, we couldn't have been. We wouldn't have wanted them any colder. I mean, they really getting out a lot of flavor.
Yeah, I try and educate as many people as I can about the serving temperatures of ales.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's familiar with lagers and and with Budweiser that tries to convince you that the colder it is, the better. Right. And that's just not the case, because it is the case with Budweiser. The colder it is, the less you can taste it.
Yeah, you can. I agree.
But, you know, the chilled glasses, not a good idea. You want your ales at, 42, 44, somewhere around there, so that you can really get all of the flavors out.
Right.
And I did try my best to make sure that they were right around there for us.
No, that's great. Yeah, it's about perfect.
We've definitely, just learning along the way, we've noticed that we'll try something on camera in front of, and then once the camera goes off, it warms up, more of the flavor comes out, and then we try it, we're like, man, we really need to redo this review.
We make mistakes along the way.
We're like, there's so much more flavor,
That Abraxas was like that. We tried it cold first, then we tried it warm when we had a review, then it was totally different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually have a wine fridge in my house that is turned into my beer fridge, and you can adjust the temperature.
That's a good idea.
So it's set at 44 degrees, so that I pull a beer out of there instead of out of the fridge.
Yeah.
Right.
The fridge makes them too cold.
Yeah, and you have to let it sit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And so these sat in my refrigerator for an hour before I brought them out here, so that the drive over here and then them sitting before we opened them, they would be back to about 45. So it was
Good
planned.
timing. Well, we didn't know that. Yeah, I like this one too. I got if we had to rate all of these, be getting ahead of myself a little bit, but I'm going to give them all A's, definitely.
Oh,
these are awesome.
Very good.
They're all really good. By far my favorite though was the Christmas Saison.
Yeah. It's mine too. I mean, I like them all, but the Christmas Saison I think was really something special, and I can't wait to do it again.
Right.
Yeah.
I like them all. I mean, I would probably, the pumpkin was just right, I think. This one was really good as well, and that Christmas Saison was very unique. That was very cool.
I'm glad you like it.
Yeah. As far as shelving, like a beer, I mean, these are some, like your pumpkin's about a year old or whatever. I mean, what's your take, like, as far as when you first made the pumpkin or whatever, it tasted this way? Does it change that drastically, or?
To be honest with you, I'm not sure that the pumpkin beer changed a whole lot in the 8 months.
Because that's
the born on date with a lot of beers. And like even a lot of craft breweries say that the fresher it is, the better, and that is to some extent. But I think we're talking about a couple of years versus a few months.
Right.
I think a good ale stored in the right conditions lasts a couple years. If you keep it out in your living room at 70 some degrees, maybe we're talking about 6 months to a year. But if it's stored at around 50, I think they last for a really long time. Under that, even ales benefit from a lagering.
Right.
So if you've brewed something that had some flaws, everybody knows if you store it at between 45 and 50 degrees for a couple months, some of those flaws might come out.
Yeah.
And, not saying that my pumpkin beer had any flaws. I think it actually tastes pretty much the same as it did before. And it's close to a year. So, the freshness, it matters to a degree, and it also depends on the style of beer. Kolsch style ales will not last for very long because they're really light and they can just go to a flat flavor in a short amount of time.
Right.
So everything's going to lose a little bit of flavor, but if you start out with something that's really bold,
Right.
you're not going to notice much of a loss of flavor after 6 months or a year or even 2 years.
Right.
But if it's something that's really light, then it's going to turn into something like water in a shorter amount of time.
It's like an IPA, for example, isn't it? They're not supposed to last very long. 6 months or so.
I totally disagree with that.
Oh, really? Because that's what you. I mean, that's what
I've always
and that's
heard.
what
And let me tell you why. The reason an IPA was created was so that it could last the trip from the UK to India.
Okay.
It's called an India Pale Ale because it was drank in India. It wasn't brewed in India.
Oh, okay.
It was brewed in the UK.
Wow.
And so they increased the bitterness by using more hops so that it would last longer. So the more bitter a beer is, the longer it will last. Because the acids that create the bitterness also maintain freshness. So when you hear about, most of our beer culture comes from the UK, historically.
Right.
So an India Pale Ale was a pale ale brewed for the consumption of British expats in India. They wanted their beer. They didn't have any in India, so brewers in the UK made something that could handle the trip, which back then was a long time.
Yeah.
Russian Imperial Stout. It was designed by Russians, but it has a higher alcohol content. A higher alcohol content beer lasts longer, and so it could last a lot longer. You could brew one brew and have that brew last for a year or so. So it all depends. Higher acidity, higher bitterness, or higher alcohol makes a beer last longer.
Okay.
Right.
But Kolsch style ales, they're not very bitter. They have a low alcohol content. Session beers don't
Right.
last very long.
Right.
All right.
Well, I guess we've gone on a long time.
Yeah.
But
They're about to open here at Water Tower Wine. So.
Yeah. So we really want to thank Brad from Water Tower Wines for letting us use this area. Come on down to St. Genevieve, see the place, taste his wines, enjoy the tasting room. Cool
They
place.
have music here a lot. So,
Yeah.
my wife and I were here with some other family members last night.
Oh,
to see a show and have some wine.
Yeah. And
Thank you very much, Mike.
Yeah,
This has been
thank you.
awesome.
This
This has
Thank
been
you.
a really
Really.
cool experience for us.
And I'd love for you guys to take one of the glasses.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
oh, awesome.
Thank you very much. Yeah, that's really
I'm
cool.
gonna take one of these clean ones.
There's only 2 of the clean ones left, so.
This has been a great experience,
Yeah.
and I think we're gonna have a couple videos, if not more.
Yeah.
Well, good.
So it's been a lot of fun.
I
We wish
appreciate
you
the effort.
We wish you the best of luck.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll stay in contact and come down
You bet.
frequently, and we're looking forward to it.
Love to have you anytime.
All right.
All right.
Great.
Till next time. See ya.